Black-Yellow Luffy, in my opinion the strongest leader out of starter deck 13, Three Brothers. Effect introduces some new mechanics, but don't worry about it, we will explain it later in the video. It's 5000 power leader, black and yellow colors for life. Your face-up life cards are placed at the bottom of your deck instead of being added to your hand according to the rules. And with 2 dons attached, we can activate main once per turn, trash 1 card from your hand. If you have 0 life cards, add 2 character cards with a cost of 5 from your hand or trash to the top of your life cards face up. So the first part of the effect is a safety net, not to stack life and leave the cards there. Most of the time we will be playing them the same turn that we use the effect, but there are some exceptions. When the deck release, it's still in the OP06, so the list that I propose to you use mostly the cards from the starter deck and strong cards released until now. In EB01 and OP07 it will change a little bit, but for the time when the deck releases, this is the deck list that I would play. Now let me explain some of the card choices. Obviously we have the new mechanic included in a deck, so all the small versions of Sabo, Ace and Luffy are from the starter deck. Some people call them chibi, some call them baby, however you like. And what is important, they have 2 relevant effects built in one. Activate main, you may trash this character, reveal 1 card from the top of your life cards, and if the card is the bigger version of them with a cost of 5, you may play this card. If you do, up to 1 of your leader gains plus 2000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Very powerful effect if we combine it with the effect of our leader. So for example, if we are able to put the big Sabo into top of our life, then the baby Sabo transforms into bigger version. And the strongest Sabo that we have already available from OP04 is obviously Black Blocker Sabo. And it's important to note that the only limit is the cost of the character and not the color. So even though the baby version is yellow, it can transform into the black version of 5 cost Sabo. So first of all, we have a strong character on board, but additionally our leader gets plus 2000 power until the end of our opponent's next turn. So basically 9 cost Whitebeard effect built in. And what is important, it's not a one-time thing. The more characters you transform this way, the more plus 2000 power you get for your leader. The other option for Sabo transformation is the one from the starter deck, because right now we have limited cards with 5 cost and the name of the big trio, SAL. So our backup plan or consistency for the deck is another 2 copies of yellow Sabo from the starter deck. On play, you may trash 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards, KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost 5 or less. Quite useful if you want to go down on life a little bit quicker to activate leader's effect faster, or if you have some good target on opponent's board to get rid of by KO effect. But this card will be replaced in OP07. For the Ace, we received quite nice transformation from the starter deck as well. And it's really simple, 5 cost 7000 power character, but on play if you have 2 or less life cards, this character gains rush. And I think I don't need to explain that in a deck when we start with 4 lives and our target is to go to 0 life as soon as possible. Playing the card like Portgas, the Ace will always have rush. So not only the vanilla stat line, 5 don't cost 7000 power, but also built-in rush. Very high pressure character. And the last transformation that we have is for Luffy, and he transforms into 5 cost 6000 power Luffy from the starter deck with an effect activate main once per turn. This character gains plus 2000 power until the start of your next turn. Then if you have 1 or more life cards, draw one card and trash one card from the top of your life cards. And this character might not seem like anything special at first, but what is important, pay attention that there is no cost for the effect. So what we basically do if we have no cards in life, that is basically our target with Black Yellow Luffy Leader, this character we have plus 2000 power every turn, because the second part of the effect is only if you have one or more life cards. So we have built-in manipulation that if we really want to speed up to 0 life cards, we can use the second part of the effect and draw one card in exchange of trashing our life if needed. But the most important thing is that this character card will be basically treated as 5-8000 power character, as the effect is basically free in this deck. And now for some future replacement, the mentioned yellow starter deck Sabo will be replaced in OP07 by Rocket Monkey D. Luffy, where he is 5 cost 6000 power character obviously, but the effect is much more useful. It's activate main. You may place this character in your trash. If your life is 2 or less, KO up to one of your opponents, cost 4 or less characters, then draw one card. So as you can see, clear upgrade from the previous Sabo character. Here we have more complex effect with more benefits, and the trigger also a nice addition, KO up to one of your opponents, cost 4 or less characters. And we are not afraid to trigger him because our leader has built-in graveyard recursion to put him later back into life again and transform our baby Luffy if needed. So all in all, very simple mechanic. We want to find a way to put big versions, the 5 cost ones of our Ace Sabo Luffy characters into the life cards, and then transform our small chibi pieces into them with added benefit of plus 2000 power to our leader. But how to find our pieces first? And here comes the consistency. We have two beautiful cards in starter deck 13 that help us find our Sabo, Ace and Luffy. One of them is Monkey D. Garp, one cost 2000 power character, and on play like any searcher, we can look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to one Sabo, Ace or Luffy with a cost 5 or less and add it to your hand. The rest goes to the bottom. The same with the event, the Three Brothers Bond. The effect is the same, but it's event instead of the character. And I suggest for consistency, as we rely on our combo pieces, to play both of those searchers. So in total we have the best number possible, 8 searchers in a deck. It should guarantee that our starter hand is at least one searcher, improving the consistency of the deck and making sure that we always find the pieces we need. And once we have those pieces, even though a leader's effect is really strong, until 0 life our leader is basically a vanilla. So how to manipulate life but also have some 2k counters in a deck? We can use Makino and Hiyori. And Makino is from the starter deck as well. It's a 2k counter that on play we may add one card from the top or bottom of our life cards to our hand and look at all of our life cards and place them back in our life area in an order. So not only we are speeding up the process of going to 0 life, but we can check if in our life cards maybe already are some 5 cost Sabo, Ace, Luffy characters hidden to have possible transformation if we have the baby counterpart in hand. Another 2k counter is Hiyori, already known from OP06 for life manipulation. Not only 2k counter, but on play you may add one card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand and add up to one card from your hand to the top of your life cards. So again, if you want to start transforming our baby pieces into the bigger versions and we have them in hand, we can manipulate our life and also speed up going to 0 life in case of our opponent trying to starve us. Because what our opponent can do is stop attacking our life to keep us healthy and prevent leader's effect from going on. In these cases, we can play Makino or Hiyori to set up our life for early transformations, but also to go down to 0 life faster without the attacks from our opponent. And with all of that, our leader is obviously partially black, so we can play the black decks staple like Gecko Moria. And Gecko Moria allows us some really nasty combo with this deck, especially when we are already at 10 dawn. We have all pieces prepared in our trash, so be it baby and big versions of our characters. If we are at 10 dawn, we can do something really disgusting with Moria in hand. As we know, Moria is not locked to a color, it's only locked to a cost. So your perfect 10 dawn turn would look like that. You play 8 cost Gecko Moria, and he brings back from the trash 2 pieces of your baby characters. In this example, let's say it's Sabo and Ace. Which one is rested, which one is not, doesn't matter. As you can see, both of them are below 4 cost or 2 cost, so they are completely legal targets. And then you can use your Monkey D. Luffy by attaching 2 remaining dons to him and trashing 1 card. If we have 0 life cards, we will put 2 adult versions to our life, and in this example I propose putting Sabo at the bottom and Ace on the top of the life to have the Sabo effect protecting also the Ace. So in result we start transforming Ace and Sabo from our life, and we are again at 0 life. In result we trash baby versions, we have Ace on board, then we have Sabo effect. So not only our pieces are protected from KO, but also we draw 2 cards, so filter our hand for the next transformations or the next setup, or even just to find another 8 cost Gecko Moria to repeat the combo next turn. And because transformation was done from the baby pieces, our leader is now 9000 power. So not only we have strong pieces on board for potential attacks, we have strong defense by blocker Sabo, and also our leader is really hard to attack because he is 9000 power thanks to the transformation from baby pieces. And what is really popular and talked about a lot is the so-named Sabo lock in this deck. So if you play against any deck that likes to KO the pieces, you can basically lock them out of the game by cycling Sabo over and over, not only protecting your pieces, but also filtering the hand cards to get another Moria and play Sabo in repeat, using him to block to put him back on trash, or stepping over him with your baby pieces if your board is full when you play Gecko Moria. Disgusting combo, something to be aware of. Additional information: we are still in Sakazuki meta, and especially the stage version has a lot of bottom deck cards, so this is something to be mindful when playing the deck. If they bottom deck your pieces, you can't really pull any cool combos, but against any other deck or the decks that rely on KO effect, like let's say Gecko Moria, this deck performs amazing as they have no counterplay to your blocker Sabo. And as you probably saw at the start of the video, I'm playing 4 copies of Shirahoshi in a deck, but this is the filler spot. You can play any other card you like in 4 copies, or maybe 2 and 2, depending what you want to achieve or depending what meta you expect to play against. I chose Shirahoshi because it's a good trigger card, and we can draw 3 cards and trash 2 cards from our hand to search for the Gecko Moria faster, but at the same time to fill up our trash with our combo pieces like big or small versions of the Ace Sabo Luffy. The only downside here is that Shirahoshi is 1000 counter, so in total we will have only 8 copies of 2k counters in a deck that you might find not enough. And if you are worried about it, you can play any other 2k counter. I would suggest Satori for this surprise factor with a trigger if needed, and if you want to go even more defensive against KO effects, you can put Borsalino in a deck, then you have quite fixed second turn. Going second, you can just play Borsalino on curve and start preparing for the bigger combos later. But as I said, any card you put here will work depending on your strategy, but we will have one big upgrade for this slot in EBO1, and it will be Flampe. It's not only a 2k counter, but also her effect allows us to speed up the process of going down to 0 life and get some advantage out of it. Not only our leader's effect will be life, but you may add one card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand and draw one card. So in effect, we speed up the process of going down to 0 life for our leader's effect, but also we draw one additional card. So this is really disgusting, and even if we don't need to do that, then we have extra 2k counter in hand ready to defend us. So to sum up, this is the way that I would build Black Yellow Luffy at release date. Obviously be mindful until OP07 of Sakazuki that it's your worst matchup, but other than that, really simple deck to pilot. Just relay in early game on your searchers that you play 8 of. If you need some additional life manipulation, use your 2k counter characters, try to find Moria as soon as possible, set up your graveyard with the transformations or baby versions if you have already Gecko Moria in hand, and once you hit the sweet spot of Tendon and 0 life cards, you start chaining your bigger versions like Sabo with your leader's effect combined with Gecko Moria to lock out opponent from the game while developing strong bodies on board and making your leader 9000 power. That is really tough to break through, especially if you cycle Sabo over and over again. That cannot be KO'd, and the only solution is to swing over him or bottom deck. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more content. Bye bye.